All right, so Dan, I've got to ask, why Pinehurst? Why is this area so perfect for hosting the kids' premier championship in the world?
Well, we're really proud to be at the home of American golf, and that's what Pinehurst is. With all of its tradition and all its great championships, people know it from all over the world. They want to come here.
Tom, it has been the stage for plenty of megawatt championships in the game of golf. We were talking earlier about 2014 and the back-to-back U.S. Opens for both the men and the women. But when it comes to the U.S. Kids Golf World Championship, why is it the perfect fit?
It's a world championship, and it's, global is a term that's often overused, but this is truly a global championship with kids representing 40 different countries. And for us, it's really neat to think, they're creating core memories that their family will remember for the rest of their lifetime. And around the Thanksgiving table, the Christmas dinner table, wherever they gather, they're going to be talking about that time they were in Pinehurst. And we're just happy to be part of a lifetime family memory.
It's got to be cool for you walking around. And what's going through your mind when you see these putting challenges going on Thistle Dew, or maybe they're out there with their family playing the cradle? What comes to mind when you see those memories being created?
First of all, the skill of these young golfers, or I'm envious as a golfer myself that I wish I had put in the reps that they put in at 7, 8, 10 years old. So I'm impressed with all of their skills, but it's just a great scene of children, of families, of the future of the game. We're over 120 years old, and we want to see the long-term health of the game continue to thrive. And every once in a while you hear about golf might be shrinking, but when you come here and you look at the thousands of kids and their families playing golf at Pinehurst, it's just heartwarming. We know the game's in a good place.
For any golf fan, it's got to put a smile on your face when they're taking this in. Dan, you're the one who made this all happen. And of course, we're here this week to recognize world champions at every age level, at both genders, but also it kicks off with a massive event, and that is the Parade of Nations. That's one of your favorite moments, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. When I see the sea of people as we march in the parade, it just kind of brings back to me the beginning of U.S. Kids Golf and the dream of having the world's kids get inspired to work on their game and practice and to come here to play. And that's so very important, to have an aspirational dream. And I see all these kids and their families out there and all the work and time that they put into it. So it just gives me a lot of joy. I always get teared up. I can't help it. It just happens.
We've got a great night ahead of us. Pinehurst being the first anchor site of the U.S. Open, but I'm looking at the golf schedule right now, and you've got some big events coming up as well. You're hosting your 4th U.S. Open in 2024, and on the schedule you'll have 4 more by 2047. So do you think the idea of these players possibly coming back as champions for those events, it could happen, right? It's a cool thing to think about.
It could absolutely happen. Knowing that the kids who are playing here today are going to go on to a long life in golf, whether it's the amateur level, at the collegiate level, at the professional level. We've seen many of the alumni of these world championships go on to compete on the LPGA and on the PGA Tour. So yeah, it is kind of fun to look out on the putting green and try to decide, which one of these little kids, boys or girls, will come back and play in the men's U.S. Open or the women's U.S. Open. And it's neat for them, I think, to be playing at a place where that dream could become a reality.
And they could come back and become a major champion on that same stage. Really cool. So, Dan, the facilities here are obviously world class, but we have talked before about the support of the community and their involvement, and it makes the championship so special. Tell us about that kind of support and what it means to you.
Yeah, the volunteer base here is tremendous. The event itself, we organize 500 volunteers from the community. And most of the volunteers do it because they see the kids and they feel like they're really giving back to the future, not just in golf, but just in life in general. And we're just very thankful to have such a group of people here in Pinehurst that want to continue to serve.
So, Tom, growing the game is a hot conversation any way you slice it when you're talking about golf. You hear about it on the news, you hear about it just in conversations among fellow avid amateurs and golfers themselves. Everyone wants to grow the game and boost those numbers and get more people playing the game of golf. So what does that mean here at Pinehurst, and how does this particular World Championship help support that vision?
I think to grow the game, you need to reduce the barriers. And as we've grown together, we've been doing this for over a decade, and they've seen changes in Pinehurst. We've seen changes in the children that come. And something like the cradle. The cradle didn't exist until 6 years ago. And it's become an immediate hit. Thistledew, our putting green, 18-hole putting green, is a place where these families are gathering. And so we've made it very accessible, lowered the barriers to entry, taken away some of the stigma of, being quiet and proper behavior, and you can go out there and scream at the top of your lungs and not stand out. So I think that's been great for us to be able to reduce those barriers to entry, to make it a more inclusive experience at Pinehurst. And then we really get to showcase that once a year when we've got 1,600 kids from all over the world here at the same time. 18 years ago, that didn't exist. And so it's been neat for us to evolve together and for your families to be able to take advantage of that.
I'm going to ask you each one more question. Thinking back on how this event has evolved from the early stages, though, did you ever see it getting this big?
That's part of why I tear up during the parade, because to me it's overwhelming. It was a dream. And at one time I told my staff, just think about having a 9-year-old course full with the world's best young players, 144 9-year-olds playing one course. And they looked at me like, are you...
And now it's thousands who are coming out here playing.
Now the reality is here. Yeah. It's an amazing thing.
Tom, it's cool to witness, isn't it?
It's really cool to witness, and it's neat to see Dan's vision become a reality. I mean, I've known Dan now for a long, long time, and I have to pull out of him conversations about the equipment company. But when you see the sparkle in his eyes when he talks about the World Championships, and he talks about these families and the kids, it's been a great journey together.
Yeah.
It is cool to see. And it all started by basically you and your wife just wanting to become better parents to your kids, and to start by building golf equipment that would make that vision more fun for kids all around the world. If they're playing the right gear, then they're going to have more fun doing it. And then now we had these competitors this week at the Cradle of American Golf. It's going to be a great week.
Yeah, thank you. It did start that in the ecosystem that we've been able to develop by having the equipment, and then having a tournaments for aspirational needs of the kids. And then our coach development program has really made an impact throughout the world. And we're just very grateful to be in the position of helping youth golf develop.
Well, cheers, gentlemen. It's going to be a great week.